welcome back everyone, Toy Shiz here, and we're going to be flying in on some leather wings because finally, and I am so stoked to be able to add the Manbat from the previous DC Direct, DC Collectibles Batman the Animated Series line to the old collection. Now, this is a McFarlane Toys reissue, relaunch. It's a gold label, and it was available exclusively at Walmart, and it's still on their McFarlane Toys store if you'd like one. I'll put a link down in the description below. But like I said, Manbat, one of my favorite characters from Batman the Animated Series. Look at that artwork right there. That is very cool. Some old school BTAS artwork, and it's the same thing on the backside. Love the old school packaging as well. Here's the barcode. This is being considered a New York Comic-Con exclusive, or just kind of in and around New York Comic-Con 2025, so just take it as that. On leather wings, everyone remembers the pilot episode of Batman the Animated Series. Well, depending on where you watch it now. I think Amazon Prime has it right. HBO Max, not so much. But Gotham City is gripped by fear as reports surface of a monstrous bat-like creature attacking Phoenix pharmaceutical facilities. The police, led by Detective Harvey Bullock, mistakenly believe Batman is responsible, prompting a citywide manhunt. Meanwhile, Bruce Wayne investigates the mystery himself, uncovering the scientist Dr. Kirk Langstrom has transformed himself into the terrifying Man-Bat after experimenting with a bat serum. Batman confronts the creature in a dramatic aerial battle across Gotham's skyline. How amazing is that sequence with the blimp? My God, that is amazing animation. And ultimately, he cures Langstrom and restores his humanity. This episode established the show's dark tone, the cinematic style, and the complex portrayal of both heroes and villains within the world of Batman the Animated Series. My God, I love this episode, and there was blood. Remember that? And then whatever these two were going to do on that rooftop before Batman interjected. But Manbat was a very exciting villain until he or she returned for Terror in the Sky. But regardless, this is going to be an absolute blast. So sit back, relax, grab yourself a nice hot cup of coffee. This is a look at the brand new reissue of the prior released DC Collectibles DC Direct Manbat, now released by McFarlane Toys under the Walmart Gold label. Here we go. All right, so now here is everything taken out of the packaging. And as I've previously stated, I did talk to McFarlane Toys at Toy Fair earlier in the year. And I said, you got to do more Batman the Animated Series, of which, fingers crossed, there is more on the way. But I said, you got to do Manbat. And if you do them, you got to lighten him up a little bit, make him a little bit more brown. Well, we'll get to that. But at least he comes with the Phoenix Pharmaceuticals pill bottles that Langstrom drinks. That was always a weird choice, but you get 3 of them. Don't lose them. But these are really more of an accessory for old Batman. And yes, regardless of what Batman you have, he will hold them. Now, you also get the tape recorder. That looks pretty cool. If you remember in the episode, it was the security guard talking to himself, records the whole Man-Bat attack, and then Bruce Wayne takes it to Dr. March to analyze it to see if, in fact, it's brown bats and starlings fighting over a nest. And yes, this is also a Batman accessory because he can hold this as well. So that's kind of fun. You get a couple accessories for old Batman. For Man-Bat, however, you get 2 outstretched wings. The coloring, as I previously said, would have been great to have a more lighter brown. The color of Man-Bat. He's way too chocolate brown, and yeah, it was just wrong then, and it's wrong now. The figure itself will go off the sculpt, the look, just the presence of Man-Bat. Yes, it is there. But as always, there are a lot of caveats. For me, I love that you can just have him on your shelf. The one problem I would say overall is that while you get some articulation in the head, and I love the ears, and I love the face and everything else, he only really looks down. Now, what would be a great pose for old Man-Bat? Perhaps looking up and flying, which, no, you can't really do that. With these arms attached, it's more of the, we're going to save space, and just the arms are down and folded and everything else. The arch, the look, the pants, everything looks pretty cool. And yes, the pants color could have been brightened a little bit. He does have some of that wonky, almost 10-year-old articulation, but he seems to stand pretty okay. He doesn't come with a stand. That would have been fantastic. But as you can clearly see, you can get the arms outstretched if you want to pose him as such. He does have a fantastic ab crunch. That's cool. But then, like I said, you can't get the head going up. But then, like I said, it kind of defeats the purpose. Also, you can't really get a lot of the positions that you would want Man-Bat in. So, truth be told, while I do love the sculpts and the idea of this Man-Bat on my shelf, it doesn't do all the Man-Bat things that you wish a Man-Bat figure would do. That being said, it's still pretty cool. And the arms do swap easy peasy. So if you want the more outstretched wingspan, which is a fantastic wingspan, and he does look great, but all of my gripes aside, I love Batman the Animated Series. But here's something to say. McFarlane Toys, I really wish that with having the DC license, you really would have taken the time in some instances to correct certain things. And I understand this is a reissue, but the coloring could have been changed. That could have been something you could have done. And with prices rising, this is where everyone's going to start standing out. If you can give the buyer the bang for the buck that they want, you will succeed. This is just same old, same old. This is, again, looking at what was released before and going, yeah, that's good enough. It's not good enough. There are a lot of changes, simplistic changes, that could have been done. I understand, again, it's a reissue. You're just going to throw it in the old mold machine, and this is what's going to pop out. But the color could have definitely been corrected, and I really wish you would have done that because you really would have had a home run on your hands. To look at the old school original Kenner Batman the Animated Series Man-Bat, well, that's the color he should be. Now, yes, the new DC Direct, DC Collectibles one really hits the mark in terms of the pose and the sculpt and everything else. But if you look at this old toy, which you can do the wings, so you don't have to swap out arms, and you can get him flapping, and you get the head all the way going up, which one succeeds after all these years, and now we're reissuing it? Which one succeeds? Yeah, it's the old one. It's the old one 100 times over. And just to show you the scaling between Man-Bat and Batman, yes, I would say that totally works. Man-Bat is supposed to be more of a hulking creature, but he's not oversized. So yeah, for me, that definitely works, and they definitely do look great together on your toy shelf. So that's going to wrap it up for my quick look at the brand new McFarlane Toys reissue of the Batman the Animated Series Man-Bat. And while I have my gripes with this figure, I still do enjoy having this on my shelf. I'm a huge Batman the Animated Series fan. If you want a much more accurate representation, you can go the more expensive route and grab the Mondo Toys one, which is an amazing figure. But if you want one more within the 6-inch realm with all the other Batman the Animated Series figures, well, then look no further. But you're going to be getting the same thing that was released almost 10 years ago. And again, I just wish that they would have had just a little bit more forethought to release a better version. So you've heard my thoughts, and now I'm curious to know yours. And until the next one, I will leave you guys with that. Adios.